Welcome to the Soul Archaeology podcast, a space for connection, resonance, witnessing, and learning. Together we'll harvest medicine from the spiral of life, sharing conversations with other embodied humans who have navigated their own initiations and found alignment with their true soul essence. With weekly astrology, energy updates, embodied conversation, and channeled teachings, this is a space for you to land and find resonance with the spiral of your own soul. Hello, welcome to the deep waters of Pisces season. I don't know if you can feel it, but I feel fully submerged in the unseen, in the ethereal, fully submerged in that current of life that we are always asked to trust over and over and over again, to attune to the rhythm and the patterns of the universe as we navigate the twists and turns of being humans. And this is the last week of Pisces season, so this is where we absorb and integrate all of its medicine. We're asked to float just a little longer, to trust a little deeper, to soften more, to release your grip more, trusting and knowing that there will be a time and a place to anchor, to really create boundaries, definition, but that this is such a fertile space to really expand, to grow, to notice what occurs when you really let go, when you really trust the current, when you really soften your muscles, soften your grip. Surrender is not a collapse. Surrender is a softening. It's an opening. It's a signal to the universe that you are in faith, in trust of its divine workings, that you're allowing the river of consciousness, the abundance, the opportunity to flow through you and to find its proper place within you, opening to the miracles available that get to find their place when we're not controlling the outcome, when we're not creating narrow vision, creating narrow pathways for things to come into our field, when we're open to what can occur, to the pivots, to the twists and turns we didn't expect. And when we soften and open, we are signaling that we're ready, that we're trusting, like I said, that there's space. I talked a lot about that in the last episode of Soul Archaeology, was that we really need space to create, to dream, to envision, to clear out the old in order to make space for the new. This is our last full week of softening, opening, releasing, before we really start heading into eclipse season, Aries season, the season of action, change, spring. This is where endings meet beginnings. It's where we are really asked to trust. We're asked to honor the past, to kneel at the altar of our past, to acknowledge what it's delivered, what it's brought us, how it's taught us, and to let go. To fully let go of the past, knowing we'll keep the medicine, we'll keep the wisdom, we will retain what we need to, but that we no longer have to carry the baggage, the emotional weight, the programs, the fears, everything that's informed by the past that's not serving the present. And there's so much magic in endings. It's interesting because we've been doing this dance between the end and the beginning over and over and over again. Of course, throughout life, we live in cycles. We live through spirals. our life is made up of hundreds of spirals, of cycles every single day, down to our cells. And we're here to embrace that. We're here to embrace where we are along the many spirals, that we might be in the end along one spiral and right at the beginning of another. We might be right in the middle, the void, on another spiral. And that can feel complex. That can feel confusing. It can be tricky to figure out how to really respond to that energy, how to work with it. We can get so stuck in the mind trying to figure out what's happening, why, what do I need to know about this? What do I need to learn from this experience? How can I protect myself if there is an ending coming? How can I trust that I'm actually where I need to be? Am I looping through something? Am I repeating something? Or am I actually moving through it and evolving through it? And the mind games can be so exhausting. They can really run down our field. They can run down our nervous system, our immune system. They can play tricks. They can make us react and respond in ways that are not aligned with our hearts. And it's really within the body where we find our truth, we find our presence, we find our path. What if we believed that we receive everything we need right when we need it for our growth, our soul's evolution? We have very specific karmas, patterns, loops that we're here to heal in this lifetime. The way we find that data, that information, the way we find our blueprint, our roadmap through those experiences is in the present. It's in the surrender. It's in the faith, in the trust. It's in the noticing, the witnessing, the awareness, the attunement, where we really receive the data and the information we need to move along. We're receiving so much right now, so much information around how we're still holding baggage from the past, still operating in past timelines with past information, past data, where our relationships are stagnant, where we need more faith, more release, more surrender, where we need more attention and more love. All of this is coming through right now in such an interesting way. I think during Aquarian season, it was so mental. It was electric. You know, it was coming through in these really abrupt waves because we had so much interacting with Pluto. We had Mars and Venus and some electric placements in Aquarius, and now we're much more in the waters of Pisces. Venus enters Pisces this week. We are on the heels of a new moon in Pisces, which was very deep, very subterranean, very floaty. I always feel like Pisces season is the feeling of being underwater, where you can hear everything and everything is clear, but it moves slowly and it floats. And it's not a place to run or to take action or to fight. There's no fire in Pisces. There's no fire in water. It's really just a place to observe, to float, to find buoyancy, to find a current of wisdom, a current of flow, a current of love, divinity that we can click into, we can latch onto. And we're headed straight into Aries season. We're at the end of the astrological year. This week is the last week of the year. This Pisces season, we had our full moon in Virgo first and our new moon in Pisces towards the end of the season. And we're going to be moving straight into Aries season next week. So this is our last full week. This week and the beginning of next week will be closing doors, especially karmic doors. Pisces rules the 12th house, which is the house of karma. It's the house of what's hidden beneath the closet. It's the spiritual house. So many downloads, so many upgrades, so much is flowing through you. Your consciousness is being expanded. There's new information being downloaded into your toolbox, downloaded into your DNA. There's a lot that's leaving. And so it's this maturational point. We have Saturn in Pisces. We have Neptune in Pisces currently. And both of these will be there for some time as they plan to move into Aries in 2025. So there are a lot of Piscean lessons, karma we're processing through. Saturn is the planet of karma. It's where we are asked to show up for the work with discipline, integrity, with commitment, devotion. Neptune is exposing any layers of illusion, victim consciousness, where we abandon self or dissolve into another, into a story, into a relationship, where we lose touch with ourself as we navigate the world, where we float or escape or dissociate in order to cope with the complexity of the world we live in. We're merging the formless and form. We're merging the unseen and the seen. We're in this space of learning how to be spiritual beings in this world, how to navigate discipline, karma, our responsibilities as humans, while staying anchored into the formless, into surrender, into faith, navigating spiritual lessons as human beings, understanding that we cannot separate the soul and the body, and live as a healthy species with healthy communities, understanding where it is our responsibility to live in alignment with our values, with our expansion, with our dreams, staying present with the masculine and feminine, learning how to create containers for our expansiveness, to create containers for our dreams to come through, and really to understand the dance between surrender and action. And I've noticed that is so much of what we're learning with Saturn in Pisces. And if you have Saturn in Pisces in your natal chart, you're in your Saturn return, which means you're going through a major checkpoint, a major transformative maturational threshold where you're asked to look where these patterns are playing out in your life and how you can move through these lessons more evolved, more aware, more mature. So we're in a spiritual upgrade currently with Saturn being in Pisces, Neptune being in Pisces, the new moon in Pisces, the last week of Pisces season before of course, the new astrological year, with it being the beginning of Aries season on the 21st. We are in this space of letting go, trusting, surrendering. We're in this space of endings and trusting that what's leaving is simply creating space for what's meant to be. And we're really here to trust the spiral. We're here to trust the metamorphosis. I pulled the butterfly card in the Untamed Elemental Deck today, and it was so in line with what I wanted to talk to you about, with what was coming through as far as the medicine of this time and how we can work with it, how we can anchor it, how we can trust more and deepen more. And the medicine really is surrender, faith, trusting the current that the universe is taking you down. When we resist, when we grip, when we reach for anything external to find safety, we pull out of the flow. We create disruption in our field. We create stagnation. The medicine is really to trust more and to know when action is needed, to discern what's a deepening, what's needing surrender, faith, trust more, and where there's real action and mobilization that's required. Gripping creates suffering. And so much of our gripping, our resistance to change, our resistance to trust, to faith, to surrender is really where the suffering comes in the human experience, when we are trying to keep, to hold, to maintain, to control what's occurring in our lives, what's leaving, what's coming in. We create that disruption, that ripple. We create stagnation. We actually resist the miracles that want to enter. And we also create this expectation that we can protect ourselves by controlling, that we can protect our nervous system, that we can protect our inner child, that we can protect all parts of us by gripping, by resisting, by pushing away. When really, open palms are what create spaciousness. They create a beautiful, soft space for miracles to land. They create stillness in a way that is an invitation to welcome in what's really meant to land. If you think about anything you're seeking or wanting to hold, chasing it, grasping for it, flailing around, creating fear and disruption, only makes it move further away. But stillness, regulation, creates a magnetism to attract the beauty of what's meant to land in your space, to land in your palms. And that comes from the deep feminine heart of trust, faith, surrender. And that's so much of the medicine that we're swimming through right now, that we're submerged within, is the medicine of the feminine and the medicine of truly letting go, trusting the infinite, trusting that we've created enough containment, enough masculine presence in order to hold us, that the universe can hold us, that the earth can hold us, that we have structures within our lives that can hold us, that faith can hold us. And so I really invite you to soften into this week, to notice where you have resistance, where you have programs running, where you have self-judgment playing out. And trust a little deeper. Trust that this is a flowy week, that things might not materialize, that things might not come to full fruition, that they might not take form necessarily this week. But we are headed into eclipse season. We're headed into Aries season. And this is this beautiful moment of stillness, of presence before so much changes, before we dive into the winds of change, the storm of eclipse season. And let this be your signal that you are worthy of taking space. You are worthy of finding stillness, presence, that you are worthy of creating that space for yourself to float. I have some exciting offerings coming up. I have actually an in-person event in Topanga Canyon that I'm so excited about. It's actually an immersion. So it's a 4-part series held on Saturdays at the incredible Ritual Life in Topanga. It's actually held between Topanga and Malibu in Las Flores Canyon. It's just truly the most magnificent location for doing this work. It's 25 acres of nature preserve, and it's just so wonderful and so stunning. And anytime I get to hold space there, I'm so honored and excited. And so I'll be hosting that through April and May. And it's a very small, intimate group, but we're really focusing on the activation of power. And it's occurring through sort of like at the tail end and at the integration period of eclipse season. So we'll be working with everything that came up, all of the information, the data, the material we can work with to anchor more deeply into your power. You can find more information on my website, my Instagram. I'll be linking the link to the retreat in the show notes. So it's going to be so fun. It's much different than the energy we're talking about today. It's much more about creating aligned action. You know, we'll be fully in the season of materialization, and moving through and activating that life force, that flame that will carry us into the next chapter. This will be a super beautiful, intimate group. So I'm so excited about that. And I'm excited to teach and to work with people in person in this type of framework. So really excited about that. I also have my Pluto and Aquarius masterclass that's also available for replay. You just download the replay. You can download it to your computer, have it saved. This will carry you through the next 20 years. So it's a good investment for the next 20-year chapter. Something you can reference back to over and over and over again, just to harvest more medicine. There might be something that comes through because so much of this work is channeled. It will land differently every time you listen to it. I've also filled my mentorship, but I decided to open up one more spot just because my capacity is there. I feel like it's a really big, powerful time to work with people in this deep container. And so that's a 3-month one-on-one container. We work deeply through your soul blueprint into your descent, into your deepest core layers that are creating stagnation or old programming, the things we really want to excavate right now. I really love this container. I love working with people one-on-one, and it's my mentorship has really been the sort of landing space and also the space from which people have launched their businesses. They've launched their work, their offerings. They have entered into new relationships. They've catapulted, quantum leaped into new timelines. So I love it so much. It's my favorite way of working with people, and there's so much medicine there. So one spot available that I just opened up for that. So you can find that information on my website, on my link tree, and also I'll be linking it in my show notes here. I also have actually an affiliate code for all of you. This is new for me. I support some makers and brands that I love dearly. Pound Jewelry, which I wear all the time, and I know many of you are already familiar with. I'll be linking the affiliate code for them. I also have one for the Loom box, which is a red light box that's super portable, super convenient. I use it every single night when I'm having my tea or my little tart cherry juice with melatonin. It has natural melatonin in it, and it's just a beautiful way to wind down. I've noticed significant decrease in my inflammation that I'm waking up with in the morning. A lot of just uneven skin tone clearing out with using this. My inflammation, like I said, joints, just things that I naturally have, being a highly sensitive person and someone who channels and moves a ton of energy through her body every day. This has been an incredible tool that I've incorporated into my routine that just helps me sort of integrate and decrease some of the inflammation that can come with this type of work and just come with being a human on this planet right now. So I will be linking that code. It is actually for a pretty significant discount. So it's for $260 off, which is a lot. And I don't know, I've looked at many different red light devices. I actually have the higher dose face mask, which I like, but I wanted it to be able to hit my whole body. And so I use this a lot more than actually I do my mask. And it's, it has wonderful reviews. It's been tested and has all of the requirements that you need to be a high functioning red light device. You can learn a lot more about it on the website, but I just wanted to ping that for all of you in case you're looking. I had a lot of people that messaged me saying they were actually looking for a device and they were excited to get a review. Sometimes it's like you can get lost in the sea of marketing and research of specific products. And so, and like I said, I did pull the butterfly card from the Untamed Elemental Deck, which is, of course, I feel like always appropriate, but especially appropriate right now as we're in this period of metamorphosis, the ending, the beginning. And so it says, the chrysalis trembles. It is a theater of transformation materializing into form. With scales of painted wings, her pupil skin splits in two. This is an unwinding, enveloped by devout effort through which an emergence takes place. Unencumbered by the limits of reason, her journey from caterpillar to butterfly is complete. The next stage now awaits her. She is a queen, empowered by her ancestral credentials to perform wonders. She greets the world with new eyes, a lineage of greatness supporting her. Butterfly's transformation was arduous. What courage it took to spin that cocoon knowing what was to come. She is here to remind you that your precious life force needn't be squandered on maintaining outdated versions of yourself. Instead, use it for becoming an emanation of your spirit's purpose. Bewilderment during the metamorphosis process is normal. Breathe with this process. Meditate upon your present and future self as free, victorious, and soaring. Your time in the chrysalis asks you to draw upon your reserves of faith and courage, and these qualities will guide the way during your transformation. When it's balanced, you have trust, self-care, and surrender. When it's imbalanced, you are change averse. To bring into balance, clear clutter, relinquish outdated beliefs. And I love that because it felt so in alignment with the message that came through today. So I hope it landed. I hope it resonated for all of you wherever you are on your metamorphosis. Just trust, trust that that's exactly where you're meant to be. Trust that your past and future selves are working to bring medicine and nutrients into the present. Everything you need to harness the medicine of the present is within you. So I hope you have a beautiful, flowy week. I hope you find ease in this journey. I hope that you feel comforted by the work that you've done, by the spaces you've created, that you can take a breath, that you can trust where you're being guided, and that you know you're worthy of all of it. So have a wonderful, beautiful week.